Hello. Welcome back to Outlandish Claims, everyone. I'm here with Millz and Mike. We're going to talk about some MLB topics. The trade deadline was just the other day, and before we even jump into the topics, I'm going to give them the stat question of the day. The Rays are one of three teams in MLB history to both trade away a 40-year-old player or older and trade for a 40-year-old player or older during the same season. Who are the other two teams? And bonus points if you can even name one player involved with those teams.
Jamie Moyer and Julio Franco.
No, but I'm just going for teams, really. I'm just going for the teams in the year primarily. The players are like extra bonus points.
Okay, I tried.
It's a good try, but no.
Okay.
Let me know when you would like your first hint.
Yeah, I think we need a hint.
Okay. Both teams that did this were within the last 20 years.
Wow. The Yankees?
Yeah. What year? Want to take a guess of the year?
Oh, 2016.
No. Earlier.
Was it around the time that they got Clemens back?
When did they get Clemens back?
That was 07.
Earlier.
Wow, it had to be that had to be in 2003 then, maybe.
Yep, 2003. Bonus points and honest to God. You don't have to. If you want to just give up and say, just tell me the player or players, that's fine. But if you want to try to guess the player or players, feel free.
So they traded away one player who was over 40 and got back somebody who was over 40?
But not during the same trade. They acquired in one trade and traded away another.
Gotcha.
Traded away in another trade, I should say.
Was Kevin Brown involved?
No.
Lee Soho?
Nope. That's a good guess. A hint as to the player. Sorry, who?
I feel like it was an outfielder.
No. A hint as to the player is you hear this name, you think of him as a Met.
Oh, Robin Ventura. Todd Zeal?
Nope.
John Olerud.
Nope. If you don't want to continue to guess on the player, I'll just tell you.
Let's hear the player because we got another team.
Yep, you do. They traded for Jesse Orosco.
I wouldn't have got
and
that.
then traded away Jesse Orosco.
Oh wow. Okay. Thank goodness we didn't go down that route.
You know what's crazy? A couple weeks ago when the Yankees were playing the Mets, my dad and I looked at Jesse Orosco's numbers and saw he was on the 2003. I should have known that.
Okay.
All right. One more team.
Giants?
Nope.
Dodgers.
Yep. Want to guess the year?
Was it like 09, 2010?
Earlier.
Oh, it had to be 06.
Yep, 06. Would you like to try to guess the player or players involved, or want me to just tell you? I will say these are more memorable names, but I don't know if you'd get them because they're not associated with the Dodgers.
Sean Green was gone by then.
Well, yeah, he's not the answer.
Sean Green was a strong Dodger. Paul Aduca?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm tapped out.
Millz, you tapping out?
Yeah.
All right. So they traded for Greg Maddux,
Oh,
and they traded away Sandy Alomar Jr.
oh my Jesus Christ. Okay.
You mentioned Alomar before, too.
He did. That's why I was hoping he would get it, just to make him not hate himself a little bit. With that, we will move into our weekly recaps and weekly outlooks. And honestly, weekly recaps is basically the entire topic of conversation, unless you want to talk about some of the games. I'll start because my weekly recap has nothing to do with the trade deadline. Weekly recap. Let's go, Joey motherfucking Votto. Break the record, man, or tie the record, buddy. Come on. Tie that record. Home runs in a row. Most games with most home runs in a row. 8 and 10, which will be what we close out with as our questioning stat. But let's go, Votto. Going for 10 home runs in 8 straight games. Let's go. Come on. Anybody else? And weekly outlook, the Rays fall apart. That's my weekly outlook. Go ahead.
The NL West was not only an arms race, but looks to be arguably the most competitive division that we've seen in the past 20 years. The Cubs are a shell of themselves, and it's honestly sad to see what was once thought to be a potential dynasty after a championship in over 100 years is now just back in rebuild mode. I mean, tank mode. Who knows where the Cubs come from here? And then, or go from there, rather. And then, finally, I mean, how does the AL East look now? How does the AL East look? Because the team who both Millz and I support, who we have been begging to make some moves, has finally made some moves. Doesn't necessarily solve the strikeout problem, but okay. I see you, Joey Gallo, Anthony Rizzo. Now we talking. And so I think you're going to see, which probably aligns with what you were alluding to, Adam, the AL East get really spooky and really spicy. Because if these pieces perform up to par and even give them somewhat of what their best is, I think that you're really going to start to see not only the division, but also the wild card take shape. Weekly outlooks, I'm going to say that Anthony Rizzo, he hit a home run in his – no. He had RBIs. I forget how many RBIs he had last game, but he started off hot. I'm going to say that within his next 4 games, he hits 2 home runs. There you go. Yeah, solid. Make it 3 for good measure. This is OC, so there you go.
Man, what a crazy trade deadline. There are a couple moves, obviously, like I spoke about it yesterday with Final Thoughts. The Mariners made, the one move the Yankees made. Other than that, I've really liked what the packages were that the Yankees sent off to other teams. And the fact that Cashman was able to, kind of get him on steals. The Cubs are paying Rizzo's contract. The Rangers are paying Gallo's. Oh, and the Rangers are also paying Rougned Odor this season. So the production is there, the possibilities. These are 2 moves that the Yankees have made that are saying, we're going for it. We're going for it now. We're shooting for this wild card, and once we're in the wild card, we believe we can win it. And I don't think that you can look at this offense and say, this isn't a championship caliber offense when everybody's rolling. You get everybody going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 in that order. And the fact that Luke Voigt is going to be coming off the bench and he was your reigning home run champion last year, that's nuts. It's pretty nuts. Mike alluded to it before. The strikeout rate is a big problem, massive problem. I was actually very surprised that the Mets didn't do as much as I was expecting them to do. The addition of Javi Baez while Lindor is out is great defensively. Offensively, he's striking out about 37% of the time this year, which is a big problem for that offense considering you're going to bat him most likely right behind Pete Alonso or right in front of Pete Alonso, who also strikes out a decent amount. Also a right-handed hitter. So, they got more balance. I think the Mets defensively are going to be okay. But it does make me wonder, if you're going to think about re-signing Javi Baez in the offseason to play second base, what do you do with Jeff McNeil? What do you do with J.D. Davis? Those are 2 guys who've been consistently good for you. And then trading for Rich Hill. Rich Hill's a decent arm. It's a CYA move, especially while DeGrom is probably out for at least another month. This is reeking very much of that 2007 Mets team right now. If I was a Mets fan, I'd be very, very worried where they lost 7 games in 17 days. 7 games, 17 days. That's all it took for them to drop to second place, and they did not make the playoffs that year. I'm very happy we stole the Red Sox target. That was nice. Just a little cherry on top. Yeah, we got a weekly prediction. The Houston Astros lose all their games this week.
Wow.
And Oakland takes first place. I just think it would be just so
It
beautiful.
would be. It would be beautiful. I would love it. That's perfect. I want that to happen. But Mills gave us a nice little rundown of his thoughts on the trade deadline. That will serve as a great segue to Mr. Edwards to give us his thoughts on the trade deadline.
Oof.
Winners, losers, trades you thought were dumb or, well, dumb for one side, great for another, fleecing trades, what have you.
Well, I'm going to slightly disagree with Mills on the fact that the Mets, didn't do well or enough. I think you can make the argument that they could have done more, absolutely. But when you're able to get Javi Baez for such a minimal return, a guy that despite his strikeouts and despite his batting average, still one of the best hitting power hitting shortstops that we've seen throughout the league over the past few years, right? And so when you take him and ultimately combine him with Lindor once he comes back healthy, you have automatically one of the most dynamic tandems in all of baseball on those two sides of the base. So
no doubt.
And so I think what you're seeing there is they got the guy or got one of the guys that they wanted to get. A lot of people thought that they would have got Chris Bryant, but they get a guy, right, who's obviously going to help them towards that that postseason run, and they're adding pieces back who are coming off of the IL. So we've seen Carrasco; he's back now. Like we mentioned, Lindor. You're going to have to see what happens with that. There's a couple of other guys that are going to have to ultimately heal up. We don't know what Syndergaard is going to give you, if anything, right? If he gives you something, I think that takes a big relief off of the DeGroms of the world. In terms of the biggest winner for me, man, I've got to go out west and talk about the San Francisco Giants. You add Chris Bryant to a lineup that already has Evan Longoria, that already has Buster Posey, that already has Kevin Gausman.
Mike Yastrzemski.
Yep, Yastrzemski. Right, like these guys are balling. And let me tell you something. They are not scared of those Los Angeles Dodgers just a couple hours away. Neither are the Padres, which I thought they did okay. Again, that's anytime you go from getting Max Scherzer from the Nationals to Daniel Hudson from the Nationals, that's a bit sad. But these two teams, and especially the Giants, are not afraid of the Dodgers. To wrap up, I love what the Dodgers did, obviously, getting Scherzer and getting Trey Turner. They've got guys who literally would be the face of the franchise on another team, about 7 or 8 of those guys on their roster. And all of a sudden, I was just looking at the roster. They're a role player on this team. It's crazy, right? And you don't even think of Cody Bellinger, who's having the most awful year he's ever had because of so much other talent on the team. But all in all, I think you'll see a situation where the Los Angeles Dodgers are the Brooklyn Nets in this scenario. So you have to see what Mookie's going to give you when he comes back, health-wise, right? But the Giants look to be the Milwaukee Bucks, man. I see this team rallying behind that bad man that is not Aaron Rodgers, but Buster Posey. And they are going to ride this thing until they can't ride it anymore.
I feel bad for the Giants just in general because they weren't expecting to compete this year at all.
Yep.
And they were ready to sell off assets, guys like Gausman, should they need to. Guys like Posey, I'm sure were in a discussion, even though he probably is going to stay a lifetime Giant.
Yep.
Longoria, right? Guys like that, Brandon Belt. There were guys that were probably not in the discussion for this year and future plans. And the fact that they haven't gotten any prospects, their farm system now hasn't gotten any better.
Yep.
So if they revert back to normal or what they were in 2019 and 2020, next year in 2022, you're looking at a really long rebuild for the Giants than you thought.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. This is definitely a
you got to go for it this year.
This has got to be a win it all year and then maybe tear it down because you're right. You're right. They were not expecting to be competitive.
It sounds cheap to pick the Dodgers as the winners, so I'm not going to do it. But I will say their best move, I don't really care if they got Scherzer and Turner in the same trade. Their best move was getting Danny Duffy. Him as a long reliever him out of the bullpen. I mean, him as a fifth starter is like what? Him as a fourth starter, but him in long relief, where he gets to just go out there every other day basically and throw 3 innings if he just feels like it. No team is going to hit that.
Mm-hmm.
Scherzer can have a bad day. Duffy will come in for 3 innings and help him out, get him to the 6th or 7th inning. No big deal. It's fine. Kershaw goes full Kershaw in the playoffs. Hey, bring in Duffy. He'll be fine. Yeah, no big deal. Most underrated signing, trading was the Dodgers for Danny Duffy. Let me just say that, number one. Number two, I disagree with Millz when he says that the Mariners were dumb in trading away Graveman, and here's why. Graveman's 31 years old and a free agent after this year. Diego Castillo is 27 and under team control for another 4 years and cheaper and also better. That being said, we all know what happens to Tampa pitchers when they leave Tampa. So I don't know how much you really want to have Diego Castillo, just knowing how, look south. Just go down I-5. I mean, Blake Snell, where did he go? He went to San Diego, but he went into the ocean. That's where he went. The winner of this trade deadline for me is the Blue Jays because they got the pitcher they needed. Jose Barrios going to that team is beautiful. That is beautiful. Hyunjin Ryu, Jose Barrios, Alek Manoah. Done. Ross Stripling is your number 4. He's having fun now. There's no pressure on him. He can just chill out at number 4. He's getting better. He's getting better. He was almost DFA'd earlier in the season. He was doing so bad. Now he's just having 6-inning shutouts, 6 innings of 1-run ball. Like, all right. There's Barrios, there's Ryu. Manoah came up. I'll just chill. Who needs Nate Pearson? Not Toronto.
Did they? I don't know if they did. I must have missed it. If they did, did they make any moves to improve the bullpen? Because Kirby Yates is out.
They did. They acquired Brad Hand.
That's it. Right. Okay, I do remember that.
That being said, the loser, aside from Tampa, there's only one loser here. Now, I'm aware that they got Yan Gomes, Josh Harrison, and Starling Marte. But your losers here are the Oakland A's. And here's why. No pitchers. You trade away Jesus Luzardo, who's still young. You gave up on him. Like, I know he's having a crap year, but you gave up on him. And you gave him up to the National League version of the Rays. So congratulations. Not only did you screw up by giving up on him, you screwed up by giving him the other team in Florida, the other team in baseball, really, that can develop pitchers just as well as Tampa. Not as good, but they're having a pretty damn good run right now between R.I.P. Jose Fernandez, Sandy Alcantara, Pablo Lopez, Zach Thompson.
Trevor Rogers.
Thank you. I was completely spacing on his name. Trevor Rogers. Sixto Sanchez, injured, completely lost the year, but he's injured. He had a fantastic year last year. Like, come on. What are you giving them to him for? That was just stupid. And to give up on one of your prized guys who you've been touting for like half a decade at this point? What's wrong with you? Stick it out a little bit, Billy. And, Yusmeiro Petit, fantastic reliever. Lou Trevino, fantastic reliever. The problem is your relievers in the end of the year suck. You had this problem 2 years ago. They suck at the end of the year. So I don't know what you're doing, not addressing your bullpen, not getting yourself an extra starter or two, because you think James Kaprielian's going to pitch every single game in the postseason? Chris Bassett's having a great year, but Sean Manaea has been known to blow up occasionally, like he's a freaking electrode. Hashtag Pokemon reference. You don't need bats. You got Matt Olson. You got Ramon Laureano. Starling Marte, fantastic ad. Josh Harrison, great ad. But it's not going to be what wins you a playoff series. It's just not. You go to the wild card game and you face at this point I don't think so, but you face the Rays or you face the Blue Jays. Hell, you even face the Yankees. you're screwed because their entire team will just tee off, as they always do in the wild card game. So, Tampa, you screwed up. Oakland, you screwed up. At least Tampa didn't trade away Wander Franco for hitting .230 in the first 20 games of his pro career. Like, dear God, man. At least give the dude a full season. All right, the closing stat question. Joey Votto going for a tie of the record of 8 consecutive days with home runs and the record of 10 home runs in 8 consecutive games. There are 3 batters, exactly 3 other batters, who have hit home runs in 8 consecutive games. And there is only one of those 3 batters that hit 10 home runs in those 8 games. Name for me, please, those 3 batters, and single out the one batter after you name those 3 batters who hit the 10 home runs.
I know one of the 3
Okay.
is Don Mattingly.
Yes, it is.
The other one, Barry Bonds?
Nope. He had 7 straight.
No, it's like one of the guys who's like you wouldn't expect to hear this name.
There are a bunch of names. There, the two name. One name you wouldn't expect because I mean he's old. It's old.
How recent are the other 2? Because I feel like one of them
is in 93. The other is in 56.
93. Who's the guy in 93?
I'll give you the 56 guy because I don't think you're going to get him. Dale Long.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have got that.
For Pittsburgh. He did it for Dale Long. When Pittsburgh was good. That's how long ago this was. It's when Pittsburgh was not a joke. My hint for you getting this guy is it's easier than you're making it.
McGuire.
Nope.
Canseco.
Nope.
Gary Sheffield?
Nope.
Was it Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yes, it was. Ken Griffey Jr. So of Dale Long, Ken Griffey Jr., and Don Mattingly, one of them has the ultimate record of most home runs in most consecutive games. 10 home runs in 8 games.
I believe it's Mattingly.
It is Mattingly.
Yeah.
It is Don Mattingly. Bonus stat question, because I feel like
wait, before you say, I gotta say this. They mentioned it on the broadcast earlier.
Okay, that doesn't count as cheating.
Cheater. No, it's fine. Cheater.
I got Griffey.
Speaking of Griffey, we all know he is junior, and he famously played with his father. There were exactly 4 pairs of 40-year-olds and 20-year-olds on the same team who hit home runs in the same game for the same team. One of them was the Griffeys, junior and senior. I'm not going to even ask you to guess this one. Another one for the Giants, Orlando Cepeda, who was 20, and Hank Sauer, who was 41. There are exactly 2 other pairs, one for the Giants, one for the Orioles. I'm going to give you half of the one for the Giants because you'll never guess this guy. Chris Spear. Who was the 40-year-old who hit a home run with him in that same game? And your hint is it's easier than you're making it. 1970.
Well, 1970.
Yeah. It's an easy answer.
Willie Mays.
Yep, Willie Mays.
Willie, yeah.
All right. And now the real question here is 2012, the Baltimore Orioles. Who were the teammates, 20 years old and 42 years old, who hit home runs in the same game?
Matt Wieters.
No.
Manny Machado.
Manny Machado.
Okay, no damn Matt Wieters. Get that out of here, Booch. Anyway.
Well, he was on the team.
He was, but he wasn't 20.
So it's him, and then it would probably be
Vlad Guerrero.
Damn.
40-year-old is a legend.
The 40-year-old's a legend.
Hall of Famer.
But he probably didn't make his career with the Orioles.
No, he didn't make his career with the Orioles.
Oh, my God.
Sosa? Not Sosa, no. Sosa was a little before. We're going to be so mad when we don't get this.
Oh, I know. It's going to be terrible. Man, I thought I had it with Guerrero.
I got Machado, so I'm tapped out.
Jim Tomei.
Oh, that's trash.
Oh,
That's so garbage. The fact that Jim Thome was a Oriole is just
yeah, that's disgraceful.
oh,
That's a disgrace.
no.
That shouldn't even be allowed in the record books, honestly.
I just want to quickly shout out. Millz got an Adam Duvall trade to the Braves. I got the Chris trade to the Giants from under the Mets glove. Just want to give us that credit right there.
The Mets Bucknered it.
Oh, man. Okay. On that note, while these guys bask in their glory, that will do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back to discuss some NBA and some NHL within the next couple of episodes. Stay tuned and stay saucy. Bye.